Good evening. My name is Mike Pritchard. I'm the city planner with the City of York. And tonight I want to give you an update on York's comprehensive plan. We want to talk about what we've done so far, what we have yet to complete, and as we continue this work, how you can get involved. I ask you to hold your questions throughout the meeting. If you do have any questions, you can comment them on the Facebook. We're live on Facebook. You can also call or text the phone number that's on your screen if you're watching on White Rose TV. We'll hold all of the questions until the end of the presentation, and then we can answer those. So let's start with what planning is generally. Planning is an organized process of dealing with change, and that comes to us from the Governor's Center for Local Government Services. So planning is a continuous process, and this plan, the comprehensive plan, is an important milestone or a checkpoint in the planning process. What's a comprehensive plan specifically? A comprehensive plan creates a blueprint for our land use patterns of tomorrow. It's also a compass, which points to us in which direction we're going, and it's a map. It tells us where we are, what's around us, and what's changing. Specifically, let's talk about the contents of a comprehensive plan. The comp plan will include visions, goals, and objectives. It will include data and measures of success, and it will include specific projects, programs, and policies. And topically, the comp plan will include all of those things about land use specifically. Land use relates to a lot of things, like population and housing, jobs, wealth and economic development, transportation, safety, community facilities, all of our neighborhoods, parks, and public works projects. So let's talk about the process of updating a comprehensive plan. We started in 2019 with a listening tour, where we had 10 public meetings throughout the city of York, and we talked to people about what was going on in their area. From that, we synthesized into values, goals, and objectives, and I'll talk about those more in a minute. After that, we split into two separate processes. One is a public survey that's out right now, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. And separately, we talked about the neighbor conversations. We went around to all of our neighborhoods, knocking on doors and talking to people about the assets in their neighborhoods, the projects, and the land use in their neighborhoods. From those neighborhood conversations, we will develop vision statements for each of our neighborhoods, which will help to develop later ordinances. From the survey and other data collection, we'll pull together a working group to hold sessions about brainstorming and what we can do to accomplish our goals and objectives. All of that put together is the plan. It will include capital projects, programmatic investments, and policy changes. Importantly, there's a loop in this process. As we talked about before, this is a continuous planning process. This isn't just a plan to sit on the shelf. It's a document that will give us regular feedback and accountability, and it allows us to have flexibility through the next 10 to 20 years. As you can see at the bottom, we are here in the middle. We are wrapping up the neighborhood conversations and finishing our survey and data collection. So what happened in our listening tour, and what did we ask about in 2019? We talked about what concerns people want us to address in their neighborhood in particular, and in the city overall. We talked about in the next 20 years, what changes should we prepare for? We asked what information and what topics people wanted to learn more about. And we talked about what the community should make decisions about in this plan. Finally, we prioritized and talked about which of our concerns that we addressed are the most critical that should be our important focuses in this plan. Most recently, in July and August, we had neighbor conversations. We went around to our 10 different neighborhoods and we asked people, what are your favorite places in the neighborhood and what's missing in your neighborhood? Are there empty or underutilized spaces in your neighborhood? Where might we build apartments or a doctor's office or a restaurant? And what one big project would you make happen in your neighborhood? From all of that, we developed values and policy lenses. And values and policy lenses are how we identify and evaluate a program or a policy that might be coming in. So those values are safety and welfare. And the safety and welfare is not just for residents, but also for visitors to our city and workers and tourists. Another value is equity, and that's demographic equity as well as geographic equity. Stewardship is stewardship of our resources. Those are natural, architectural, and financial. Sustainability pertains to fiscal and administrative sustainability. And predictability means you shouldn't have any surprises when you're dealing with City Hall. And now we move on to goals and objectives. There are three main sections of the comprehensive plan. The first is safe and healthy residents. Below that, each of these bullet points is a goal under safe and healthy residents, and each of the goals has a number of objectives that we'll talk about in a minute. So under safe and healthy residents, we want to improve property conditions. We want to end homelessness, challenge York's reputation as an unsafe place, increase access to health services, and eliminate food insecurity. So under improving property conditions, what do we specifically want to see? We want to achieve compliance with property maintenance codes. We want to fix the housing units that lack complete plumbing or complete kitchens. We want to reduce trash on our streets, and we want to create a better system to remedy the disputes that arise between property owners and tenants. Under the goal of ending homelessness, we have two objectives: to expand the choice and variety of housing types and housing costs, and to create pathways to home ownership for tenants. As we challenge our reputation as an unsafe place, we have three objectives. One, to reduce violent crime. One, to improve the relationship between our community and our police department. And one, to prevent drug overdoses in our neighborhoods. As we look at increasing access to health services, what does that mean specifically? It means increasing access to mental and behavioral health services, expanding access to affordable primary care providers in the city, and increasing quality and affordable child care options. As we move on to eliminating food insecurity, what does that mean? We want to improve the deliverability of the charitable food network. We want to eliminate food deserts and expand healthy food options. So the second section of the comprehensive plan is about our prosperous and welcoming neighborhoods. So we're moving up in scale from the individual to our neighborhoods. The three goals here: to build wealth within our neighborhoods, to build socially cohesive neighborhoods, and to ensure that all neighborhoods have complete streets. When we talk about building wealth in our neighborhoods, we mean that we want to increase the number of people that both live and work in York, people that spend their entire day here in the city. We want to improve educational attainment throughout the city, not just for young people, but for people of all ages. And we want to increase the number of entrepreneurs and locally owned businesses in the city. Finally, we want to increase the diversity of our business ownership and business leadership. Our next goal is building socially cohesive neighborhoods. And what does that mean? We want to make more inclusive third places. And what's a third place? A third place is the place that you spend the time outside of your home and outside of your office. Places like bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and public spaces. Another objective is to minimize socio-economic segregation between neighborhoods. We want to prevent the displacement of residents when development occurs to make sure that development is occurring equitably. We want to improve the tenure and reduce resident transiency. For people that live in the city of York, their neighbors are often strangers, and to a much greater degree than people that live outside of the city in York County. And finally, we want to build parks and public spaces that provide opportunities for social interactions. We have a lot of spaces in the city of York that are open green space that aren't activated as well as they could be. When we talk about ensuring all neighborhoods have complete streets, City Council a few years ago passed a resolution ensuring that all of our streets will be complete. What does that mean? We want to improve the street canopy, which means planting more trees. We want to improve street lighting to make sure that it's not dark and unsafe on the streets in our neighborhoods. We want to provide street furniture like benches and seats and tables where you can comfortably spend time in your neighborhood on the street. We want to maintain and fund public art. We want to ensure adequate parking throughout the city. We want to expand bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure so that York is a more comfortable and safe place to ride your bike and to walk around. And we want to eliminate serious injuries and deaths from vehicle crashes. Finally, the third section of the comprehensive plan is a sustainable city for future generations. We have two goals here. One, to reduce our carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emissions. And second, to provide reliable transportation connections to our regional neighbors. So reducing carbon footprint and our greenhouse gas emissions. City Council a few years ago passed a resolution saying that the city of York would become a 100% renewable energy city. We want to put some meat on those bones and figure out exactly how we will accomplish that goal. And finally, we want to eliminate our greenhouse gas emissions. So that is all of the work that we've gone through so far with the comprehensive plan. So what are our next steps? We want to finalize that neighborhood survey that I'm talking about. That'll be on our website, where we've had about 200 people respond already, but we want to see a much higher rate of response. We want to convene those working groups that I talked about that will be made up of people from all across the city, as well as experts in particular subject matter. And those working groups will brainstorm the programs, the projects, and the policies that will help us achieve our goals. And finally, we want to prioritize and plan for the future. So what can you do? You can let us know if you want to be involved in those working groups. And most importantly, right now you can go to yorkcity.org, and on our front page you can click the link that says Take the Survey. We have a comprehensive planning survey that will help us inform and understand what success looks like for the comprehensive plan. We can collect a lot of data from the Census Bureau and from other sources, but what we don't know are the thoughts, experiences, and the perceptions of people that live and work in the city of York. So you can help us with this. As I said, we've had 220 people respond to the survey so far, but when we look at the demographics of the people that have responded so far, we know that things are a little askew. We know that more women have responded to the survey than men, and that doesn't match the makeup of our city. We know that overwhelmingly, people that have responded to the survey so far are over the age of 35, and we're missing the voice of people 18 to 35. When it comes to race, about 75% of the respondents so far are white. This means that we're missing the voice of Black or African American and multiracial or multi-ethnic individuals that live in our city. When we look at whether or not our survey respondents identify as Hispanic, Spanish, or Latino, about 90% of people that have answered the survey so far say that yes, 90% say no, I'm not Hispanic or Latino. That means that we're missing the voice of Hispanic and Latino residents. When it comes to tenure, whether or not you own your home, overwhelmingly, the people that have responded to the survey are homeowners. Again, this means that we're missing the voice of people that are tenants, that rent their homes. And when it comes to income, we know that overwhelmingly the number of people that have responded so far make more than $50,000, and many of them are making over $100,000 or $150,000 or more. This means that the median income households and people that are making less than $20,000 are not represented in the survey so far. And we need to hear from you to better understand what the city is like right now and how we can improve it. So again, one last plug for this, yorkcity.org, right on our front page. You can take the survey right by clicking on that button. And I hope that you will. So again, my name is Mike Pritchard. I'm in the Bureau of Planning and Zoning. I'm the city planner. And at this point, I'd like to open it up to any questions. If you have a question, you can give a call or text the phone number that's on your screen if you're watching on White Rose TV, or you can ask directly on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook Live, and I'll turn to Cherie.
So we have one question regarding people who may not have access to the internet, which means they may not be able to access the survey on the website. How can those people be notified of the survey and complete the survey?
Sure. So we hope that in addition to Facebook and email and all of those things, that word of mouth is also one great way to get the word out about the survey. Please tell your friends, please tell your coworkers, please tell everyone you know to take the survey if they have any connection to the city of York. If you don't have access to the internet, you can give me a call and I can walk you through the survey myself. We can also print out paper copies of the survey and share them with different organizations if you'd like to do sort of a mass survey taking party.
Yes. We also asked, will there be a door-to-door campaign? So I think that having paper copies of the survey may be able to assist in that as well.
Yep. Any other questions?
We don't have any questions, any additional questions, not on our Facebook feed, and we don't have any from text or phone.
All right.
If
Well, I want to
do have additional questions, they can reach out to contact you.
I want to thank you for watching now on Facebook and on White Rose TV. And it looks like there might be another question.
We do have one. They want to know, surveys can be available at the city for pickup. Once printed, we'll have them available on the first floor of City Hall.
Second floor.
Second and first, they can pick them up at the thing. And we did have a suggestion regarding the green spaces that were mentioned. The suggestion was to include green spaces specifically in flooded areas throughout York City if possible.
Yeah, thank you for that suggestion. And there's a lot of work that my office and our department does around floodplain management, around flooded or potentially flooded areas. And it's important that we keep those areas as natural as they can be and as protected as they can be. And they're often a great opportunity for public space, as you suggested. So thanks for that. Any other questions?
What can be done to reduce the density of rental properties and increase home ownership as it pertains to what will be in the comprehensive plan?
Sure. Well, this is certainly a thorny subject and something that I think there's a lot of discussion that needs to happen. Our planning commission and our city council will be involved in those discussions. And there's a lot of good research from other cities as well that are, we're not alone in the issues that we face. And as we convene these working groups, those are the exact kind of questions that we will be tackling. Anything else? Looks like there might be another Facebook comment.
Yes.
Sorry for the delay.
A question, why do we think that the survey takers do not represent the majority of Black or brown people of color in the community? Or does not represent the Black and brown population?
If the question is about, if we can go back. So I know that I sort of skipped through this quickly, but the black area there, not the Black or African American, but the black line on these charts represents the proportion of the city population that identifies as each racial group. So we can see that about a third of the city identifies as Black or African American, but only about 13% of our respondents have said that they are Black or African American. So again, this is one of many ways that we're reaching out to individuals and organizations throughout the city, and one reason that we haven't closed the survey yet, because we know that we want to see better respondents and more people responding to the survey.
To that end, what do we think we can do differently to get more representation? Another question.
Again, things just like this, and we are reaching out to organizations throughout the city that represent the good cross-section of people in this city to help spread the word about the survey and about the comprehensive plan in general. I did not mention that we also have a group of volunteers that are helping to form the steering committee, and they are, again, a cross-section of the city of York. They represent every neighborhood from across York, and they are also helping to spread the word about the survey and about the comprehensive plan.
And we also welcome organizations, interested organizations, to help spread the word as well.
Yep.
Another question is regarding Article 136 that guarantees economic development benefits, that economic development benefits the residents by giving preference to city businesses and hiring city residents. Can that be included in the comprehensive plan?
Yeah, that's a great example of a policy change that can be included in a comprehensive plan and other planning documents, and I know that our department is working with council on that. So it's a great example of some of the ways that we can talk about changes to the way that we do business to achieve our goals and our objectives.
I don't see any more.
Looks like we're good for now. So again, I want to thank you for watching on Facebook or for watching on White Rose TV. And if you do have questions or comments at any point in the future about the comprehensive plan, the survey that's open on our website right now, or planning in general, my email and my phone number is on the screen right now, mpritchard@yorkcity.org. And I look forward to talking with you.